Hey, there we go. It looks like it's working. Anybody jumping on? So I had a whole setup with a microphone and headphones and everything, but it's for some reason not letting me live stream on my computer. It's only letting me live stream on my phone. So we'll see how long my phone battery lasts. But so today I was going to go over the very first video I put up was the Mystic Knights video, and there's a lot of questions that are posted on there, so I selected some of them. I thought, why don't we take a look at those questions? Hey, welcome to the live stream. Uh, so I'm going to take a look at some of those questions and then just answer them because there's a lot of random questions, and I thought it'd be fun. So, how you guys doing? Hey, Gavin. Hey, Prism Ranger. How you guys doing? Thanks for watching. This is exciting. This is my first time. I had a whole setup with my microphone and everything and my webcam, but it wouldn't let me do it. So now I'm just going rogue on the phone. So let's see. I gotta make sure I find, where did I put those comments? Come on. No. How's your guys' day going? All right. So I'm gonna start off with one of the okay, so again, I'm talking about the Mystic Knights video, which is the crossover idea of Mystic Knights and the Mystic Force. And so, oh, awesome! I'm glad it's working. And so there's some different comments and some people who added to the idea, and some people who are saying it wouldn't work. But I wanted to do so. The first comment here was M1R4R1 R463. Uh, that's the account. They put, this theory could also include the Red Battleizer from Time Force. Red Battle Warrior. Let me try and explain. If you have the original power of fire sealed away after the mystical war and hidden away in the mortal world, and had it guarded by Pyre to keep it from evil hands who may try and use its power, eventually it is discovered by the dark ghost of Torque, who takes the form of a Black Knight who attempts to take its power for himself, only to be stopped by Wes, the Red Time Force Ranger. Wes proving himself pure of heart, just like the original user Rowan, and thus awards him the power of fire. So what they're talking about is the Battleizer suit in Time Force did look very mystic. It looked like kind of a knight, and which is very out of place, uh, sort of. And so they were saying there's that episode where there's that Black Knight coming through, and that's when he gets it, is he gets it from the Black Knight, and there's also a White Knight. So their idea is that Torque is actually the Black Knight, and Torque is the general from the evil general from Mystic Force or Mystic Knights. I think that is such a cool idea. I would love that. I mean, I really try in the theories to make sure that they're like as completely accurate as possible, but that is a cool idea. I would love for there to be a backstory for any random character like the Black Knight. So that would be really cool. I'd love that. And hey, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Um, Again, I'm trying to do this on my phone, which is not the way I wanted to do it, but it looks like that's what's happening. All right. Next, I got Tyler Davis. He said, I love the theory, but the math doesn't add up. Lord Zedd would have been turned back to evil before ever being turned good. So, what they're referring to, I believe, is the theory I have with Rita and Lord Zedd meeting the main at the end of uh, the Mystic Knights. That theory about her basically being the one who raised Thrax, they're saying that that's not possible because of Lord Zedd that he would have been turned back to evil before being turned good. I don't really know what this comment is saying because they're acting like he got turned evil again. And if they're talking about Dino Fury, that is not Lord Zedd as we know him from the Zordon era. That's Lord Zedd, a copy of him, and I believe it's a copy of him from before he was with Rita. Do you guys think that, or do you think that? I mean, it's definitely not the same Lord Zedd because they said in Dino Fury it's a copy of Zedd. We got Brendan 40. Well, in the Irish mythology, in the Ulster cycle, Maeve is the good character and King Conifer is the evil guy. He is a pig in Irish mythology who makes a pass at Maeve, and she enacts revenge against him. He then violates Deirdre, who is not even his daughter in the Ulster cycle, and it's really strange decision to make Deirdre the daughter of the guy that pervs on her as a child and locks her in a tower and then marries her off to the guy that kills her lover. Okay, so yeah, the actual mythology that Mystic Knights is based off of is very, very different from what is actually in the show. Now, granted, the show is for kids, so we're not going to have it be quite this graphic like the actual story is. And to be honest, I've watched through Mystic Knights twice, and if you haven't seen it or you maybe you've seen bits and pieces, most of it's on YouTube. There's some better versions of it. There was a I think first half of the season came out on DVD in Germany at some point. So there's someone out there who has put up like the first half of it, and it's really good quality video. But they took the American audio and put it onto the German one, so it looks really nice. So you can watch the first half, and I think the channel name is Celtic Princess, I believe. So you can watch those, and then you can find the other ones. They're not quite as good quality, but you can get the gist of what the story is. Um, but so the whole mythology, yes, King Conifer, who is the original, like he's supposed to be the good king. He's supposed to be the good guy in Mystic Knights, but the original story, he was this horrible, perverted, awful person. And but the more I watch the actual series, I kind of think he is the bad guy a little bit because he uh, there are times throughout the show where his townspeople, the peasants in his area, don't they're not happy with him as a leader. You never ever see anybody unhappy with Maeve on her side of the kingdom. No one ever says Maeve's like this horrible witch or she's this horrible leader or awful to her people, but people do talk about how horrible that they don't like King Conifer. So it kind of leads me to believe that maybe he really is the bad guy in this situation. He just has the Mystic Knights wrapped around his finger. They fight for him. The other thing is that Torque, who is the general for Mystic Knights, in Mystic Knights, he fights for Maeve. And Maeve, Torque was supposed to be the most noble warrior in the land. So that furthers my thought of if he was the most noble warrior in the land, why is he fighting for Maeve? Probably because he sees that she is actually the one who is the good guy, and that King Conifer is kind of a horrible slimeball. So that's kind of my prediction after watching it for a second time. I do kind of notice that, yeah, I don't think he's exactly a great leader. All right, this one is from the guy Flash. And again, if you guys have any questions or comments or any random thing you want to talk about, we're just hanging out. So let me know. And I don't know if you guys are commenting. Oh, here's some. Oh, Ambrose. Sorry, I didn't see your message yet. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Hello from, well, I'm in America. It's crazy. I've talked to, is it Ambrose? Is that how you say it? I don't know. I'm sorry. You were saying that you're in Romania. That is awesome. My goodness. I will tell you, I'm very envious of people who have any culture. I'm from the Midwest in America, and it's almost like we have the lack of culture. So it's kind of a weird feeling. But thank you so much for jumping on. What time is it over there? Tell me. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But uh, so the guy Flash. Also, quick question, possible theory: could Angus, the Green Mystic Knight, whose weapon is a mace, be related, or B, Master Fant, the Green Jungle Fury Ranger, who also uses a mace? I love that. Um, that is a great idea. So if you know Jungle Fury, there's Master Fant, who is an old guy who he's the one that he doesn't want to he doesn't want to deal with Lily. She's going to him for help because they need the mace weapon to defeat this monster. And so I could see, because Angus was kind of a bitter person at times, and so I could see where if he came through the magic realm into the uh, the real world, and he was what was the word for it? He was wanting to leave. The actual actor wanted to leave the show at the end of season one, and then unfortunately there wasn't a season two, so it didn't really matter. But had that happened, there would have been some explanation of what happened to Angus. So maybe that would be a really cool idea if he became Master Fant. Again, there's no proof, but that would be really cool. So Rawl, Rawl, Rawl is fine. Oh, just call you Rawl. Okay, I got you. I got you. Um, Okay, this is Bagger Flakes commented on the video. Wasn't it revealed that the Fire Knight's brother was actually the legendary knight? Uh, the legendary knight. I don't know who the legendary knight is, but I'm assuming when you say the Fire Knight, I'm assuming they're talking about Rowan, and his brother was Lugad, who was this kind of deformed monster knight that Nemain raised and transformed him into this monster, which is why I believe she could have done the same thing for Thrax and turned him into this monster, even though his parents were good when she had got a hold of him. All right, Junior. Let's see, JRV. That's me. Uh, their comment was, I think there are. Let's see. I think there are. Okay, Nick is certainly a descended from the warrior Draganta. Draganta is also Rowan and is current warrior Draganta. But there are many more generations between them, as the time period Mystic Knights is set in is pre-Christian Ireland, so from around 1700 to nearly 2,000 years ago, or sorry, 1,700 to nearly 2,000 years ago. I think Liembo is wearing the red mystic armor, and his red wolf warrior form is the most powerful tier of the armor after Battle Fury. Fireheart must be descended from Pyre by, or why do you keep say Nog when it's Nog? Like, no, not. Okay, so I will say I am really bad. I'm again, I'm from the Midwest in America. I don't know a lot of I don't know foreign languages, my foreign languages. I really wish I did. I never got to take it in school, and yeah, so I don't know why I keep saying nog instead of nog. Maybe it's because of eggnog. That's why I keep saying it. I don't know. I'm sorry, but um, so what they're saying is that yeah, that's dated back in pre Christian Ireland. Yeah, I that is what the show is intended to be. I just think that the idea of the mystic realm being something that is more of that. There's castles and different things like that. I think it would be cool um, if that was the same thing as the mystic realm. Okay, Rawl, you said the Jungle Fury Rangers are not alive because they made a deal to get the Jungle Masters mode. They still have to stay in the afterlife forever. I saw your theory on that. And yeah, I think, yeah, the whole idea of like that's a big theory about Casey being a ghost, basically, in Mega Force. I I don't hate that. I mean, it's, if you think about it, it's sort of like all the Jungle Fury Rangers are initially like Force Ghosts, like Jedi Force Ghosts, but they're uh, yeah, the Jungle Fury Rangers. So like they kind of have this connection to the afterlife, but they also can walk in the real world. So I think that's a cool idea. Because we never saw Theo and Lily in Megaforce. That is very true. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like both of those actors and actresses, and yeah, it's man. Were you guys bummed about Megaforce? Because I gotta tell you, that's I got back into Power Rangers when RPM came out. A friend of mine told me you gotta watch RPM, and I hadn't watched since the end of Ninja Storm. That was like kind of the last season I really watched, and I watched RPM. I was super hooked after that again, and then watch Samurai, which I like Samurai. I didn't think it was that bad. There's some people who really hated it, and then Megaforce was like gonna be this amazing thing, and it I don't know, kind of fell flat a little bit. The episode with Casey was really good though. I thought that was cool. Um, I wish every episode was kind of like that, but all right. The next comment I have on the video was Forbidden Comic Portal. That's uh, the account. I feel they are closer connected to Samurai. The main elements connect, and it's possible that they fell into Japan and needed to change the power suits. I feel like that's kind of a stretch, to be honest. Um, Knights, knights with magic, which, okay, when you say magic, Rowan's really the only one who ever uses magic. The other, the others really just use their weapons that have kind of like mystical powers, but they all relatively are intended to be able to use magic. But Samurai has no magic involved, and it's a completely different art form as far as fighting style and everything. So I just really don't feel like there's any connection to that. But it's okay if that's what if you like that idea. All right. Okay, I don't know how to say this one, but their comment was, you know that Nick and Madison get together, right? That seems like the kind of thing Udana and Liembo would put a stop to if they were cousins, don't you think? So they're referring to the fact that my theory connects all the Mystic Force Rangers to the Mystic Knights, and the way the family trees worked out was was that they were kind of cousins, like they were kind of related. I gotta be honest, you guys let me know what you think, but I really don't. I When I watched Mystic Force for the first time, and I don't dislike Mystic Force, but when I watched it for the first time, when it got to kind of the finale, and Madison was like, hey, you gonna come back when Nick was leaving, I was kind of confused. Like, wait, what? What are you talking about? Um, I was kind of a little like put like, what is happening? I didn't really see them as a couple throughout the whole series. As I've rewatched it, I see the subtle hints, but it wasn't like a major West Gen sort of storyline. It was kind of, I don't know, laxed, I think, on that. Um, Sergio, is that how you say it, Sergio? I got a question. Do you think the Wild Force Rangers and Galaxy Rangers are connected? I I would say that the Lost Galaxy Rangers, they are kind of the Wild Force Rangers of the like universe. Like they have, it's really sort of the same concept of these animals. Their Zords are like living beings that talk to them and communicate with them, and I love that idea. I kind of think that I wish they leaned more into that in Dino Fury, because when they changed the dinosaurs into those statues, I believe that those statues or those dinosaurs became the Zords, and that is like their essence, their being are the Zords. But and Zato says like, hello old friend when he goes in, but they don't ever really. He never like talks to the Zord that much. But I think it would be cool if they did that in Dino Fury. But yeah, I I don't know if I can think of any specific connection between the two. But I mean, they're very similar. They're kind of the same sort of storyline in some ways. Uh, oh, Teamster or Team Stick. Sorry, I can't talk. Team Steed won. Hey man, hello. The second season of Mystic Knights Battle Thunder was robbed. I know it was sad. I think, like I said in the video, Scott Pagter, who, rest in peace. It's really sad we lost him pretty recently. He said that the ratings were great. Kids loved Mystic Knights. The toy sales just were not up there at the same level as Power Rangers, and that was the reason why they ultimately got rid of the show. I really wish they would have continued or just done maybe one more season and see what they could have done, because, there was a lot of success with VR Troopers, but the VR Troopers, they were mixing so many different seasons of, I think, was it Metal Heroes, that it was just it was hard to keep it all together, so they eventually stopped doing that. Beetleborgs was gigantic, and Beetleborgs ratings were through the roof, and the toy sales were great, and then they just lost the show because the Japanese counterpart stopped. So this was really an opportunity for them to build a show that they could control, like they could take somewhere, and they let it go. I don't think Chaim Saban had the mindset at this point. I think he was kind of taking a back seat to the whole thing and not really paying attention to it. But man, can you imagine if they really focused a lot of effort on all these different shows and then turned it into like this gigantic sort of MCU Avengers sort of thing where they all cross over together? That would have been incredible. But I got to do a video on that eventually, of the lost potential crossovers, because there's a lot of them. Video Bird 300, hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining us. Thanks, guys. This is so much fun. Honestly, I'm having so much fun with you guys. It's just cool to talk. So thanks for commenting. Townsend Luke, hey, how you doing? Vogue FYI, what? What's a Vogue? VOG? What's Vogue? Guys, I'm 30 years old, so if that's like a weird like texting lingo, which my generation invented, but I'm not good at. So what is that? What do you mean FYI? Is there something coming after me? All right. Okay, I'll go on to the next one. Let's see. Shokin. Mystic Knights of Tir Nog had nothing to do with Mystic Force. Mystic Force is based off the Super Sentai Magi Ranger. Mystic Force has literally no ties to Tir Nog. They weren't even made at the same time. Tir Nog aired around this time. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and VR Trooper aired on Fox. And take it into account, Disney had the rights to Mystic Force and Jungle Fury. Okay. I love when people make comments like this, like I didn't realize this. And I stated in the video that these are 10 years apart, different companies. Yes, they are not. No one has gone on record saying Mystic Knights is connected to Mystic Force. Now, but that's the whole point of this video, of this channel, is to like explore these things. I'm always there. I don't know why people do that. They're like, they just don't like the idea of coming up with ideas. I don't know. Anyway, what's your favorite type of morpher? My favorite is the everyday item morpher, like the cell phone, but I also like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers morpher. Fun fact, Jack was the first Sentai with a theme that began playing cards theme. Oh. See, I wish I knew more about Sentai. I really don't. I wish I knew more about it. I just never really got into it. And at this point in time, I do a lot of work on my computer, and I have 2 monitors, and so I'll have like Power Rangers playing on one side, and I'll be working on something on the other, and so I have to just listen a lot. But you're asking what my favorite morpher is. Oh, that's hard. I don't know. I got a little while ago, my brother got me this. I've never really had this one. So I got this one, but I have I do have my Zeo Morpher. I have that one, I always love that one. But I'm trying to think. Did you like the Jungle Fury Morphers? Just the glasses? I always like that. Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Sorry, my mind's going a little blank, because I'm trying to think of what all the different morphers are. I don't know. I think the Dino Fury one just being on your wrist is a really convenient one. Um, like the Mighty Morphin one, it's like you have to take it out and do something with it, which I think is harder as far as like battling. Um, but I don't know. That's a hard one. I do like the In Space one. That one is cool. I've always liked In Space. That's one of my favorite seasons. In Space is just awesome. So I'd probably have to go with that one. Let's see. Either didn't watch it all the way through or just didn't understand. Laugh aloud. Glad you don't take it personal. Prism Ranger, what are you talking about? What should I be taking personally? Well, now that I need to take something personal, now I gotta do. Works great. Hope you're good tonight. No, I'll take it personal if I need to take it personal. Let's see. My favorite Morpher must be Jungle Fury. Yeah, it's like wearing sunglasses and that's it. Yeah, I like those. You know. Uh, Prison Range. You said In Space is yours, and then Lycan. Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming. Have you heard of the Tabletop Power Rangers role playing game? Yes, I have heard of that, and I would love to play it sometime. I don't really have a lot of opportunity to do it. I started this channel partly because I don't really talk to people about Power Rangers, and so this was kind of a way to sort of like just talk about it and like have fun with it. And it's kind of cool that it's blown up a little bit and people are into it. But yeah, I would love to play the tabletop game. I would love it. Um, but I don't think I have anybody to play with. So the person commenting on the video from Mystic Knights and Mystic Rangers aren't related, and how you started. Oh yeah, yeah. No, no. I try not to take things too personal. I mean, it's just funny to me because like the name of the channel is Mighty Morphin Conspiracy Theories, which I thought is a pretty funny name, like little hokey. You know, I thought it was fun, but it kind of indicates that like we're a little it's a little crazy. And then like the name of the video is like fan theory. It says fan theory, and then there'll be people who just go like they'll get so angry and say this isn't real, and it's like yeah, I know that. I know it's not real. That's the whole point is just making a fan theory. But there are some that I like. Like I like the Mystic Force, Mystic Knights thing. I would love if Saban or not Saban, Hasbro. I would love if Hasbro just like rolled with it and said, you know what, cool idea, let's do that. I would love that. My hope, I really, really hope that Netflix, like we've seen the all the MCU shows going on Disney Plus, where they'll do Hawkeye and it's just like 6 episodes or 7 episodes. I would love if they just did like a 6 episode run of Mystic Force, like time traveling back to Mystic Knights and meeting all the Mystic Knights, and then having like a young Udana and a young Liembo be there. Partly because we lost the actress who played Udana, which is very sad. But it would be cool to kind of pay homage to her, but also kind of connect those stories would be really, really awesome, I think. Um, let's see. Since COVID, the next Ranger Morphers should be a LED mask like the ones in clubs. Yes. Yeah, it's funny. I thought when Mystic, I thought when Wild Force came out, I thought it was really funny that it was cell phones. I thought that was hilarious. Which a part of me kind of, I was rolling my eyes like, really, cell phones? But it's kind of cool when that stuff happens, like, because now kids will go back and watch Wild Force and be like, what do they have? What are those? What are growl phones? You know? Because it's the flip phone thing now. So I just think that's funny. It took someone a few years to connect RPM to Beast Morphers. Perhaps they will tie Mystic Force and Mystic Knights. Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing that's funny is the RPM video I put up recently. A lot of people are getting upset about whether or not it's connected to the rest of the Power Ranger world and all that. What's your opinion on that? Oh, Power Ranger fan film. That's from Video Bird. Um, I gotta say, I watched it like twice, and the first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I thought, and then, um, I saw a couple of the actors give their opinions, um, and I don't know. Like, I've kind of gone back on it. Like, it was well done. It was a cool idea, but to be honest, the whole like Zach the Black Ranger doing blow to me is just like it's you can be dark and gritty without just throwing out like morals. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. It was well done. There were some cool action scenes and stuff in it. But I don't know when they start trying to be like when they try to make Power Rangers have like sex and drugs and all this stuff in it. I'm not really for that. I just, I think Marvel has done a great job in showing that you can be fun and be comical, but also be kind of adult and and have good subject matter. They have lots of times where there's hardship but I don't know. There's something to me see, I'll watch comedies. Whenever I see a comedy where there's just this really awful example for some girl to like lose her clothes, I don't think that's funny. I'm always like, God, like they really had to do that, And I always think I feel bad for the actress. Like you got on this stupid thing, and let's see. Um, hey, my name is oh man, Chancey. Is it Chancey? Bullock. Bullock. Hey, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry if I mispronounce names. I'm terrible at it. Marty S. Marty S. Never saw Mystic Force, but love your content. Only watched Zordon Era and Lost Galaxy, but love the passion you have for the series. Hey, thank you. And listen, I totally get it. I will say, if there's one season you need to watch, I think it's RPM. You should watch RPM. RPM is so well done, and it honestly, like that was I kind of petered off of Power Rangers when I was a kid because I grew up where you kind of got made fun of for liking Power Rangers, and so I kind of stopped watching it. And then a friend of mine told me to watch RPM, and I've been hooked ever since. And it's really, really good. You should check out RPM. I highly, highly recommend it. So if you ever get the chance, and I hope Netflix brings it back on. Also, Dino Fury is awesome, man. Like Dino Fury is doing great. I watch with my son, and I love it. Raw. I was upset they made Rita the Green Ranger and crammed in Zeo crystals. You know what? I liked it. I kind of liked it. I know the Krispy Kreme fiasco of the whole thing upset a lot of people, but I personally really liked it. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I thought the Krispy Kreme thing was hilarious, and it was obviously just kind of a big joke. Like they were hitting the whole product placement really hard, and they just went with it. I thought that was fun. Uh, let's see. Oh, misread that. I loved Mystic Knights. Laugh out loud. um, Marty, I was the same way. I finally got convinced to check out Dino Thunder and really enjoyed it and led me onto RPM and Time Force, but mainly just a guilty pleasure to watch in my spare time. Oh my gosh, Time Force. Okay, I'm a very emotional person, I'll admit it. And the older I get, the more I get invested into these characters to where I just kind of I think about my own relationships in life and I think of my own things. And so I'll watch Time Force and the ending of it, no one ruin it for this guy, but the ending of it, I legitimately tear up. I tear up. It makes me very emotional. But here, I'm gonna plug in because I'm like my phone's dying here. I hope this doesn't screw up my live stream. That help? Oh, good. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Um, yeah, I miss Time Force is also good, but I do anybody who is looking to just jump back into Power Rangers, RPM's really good. I think the RPM Blue Ranger is one of the strongest because of his biofield ability. Yeah, he has the burst ability. I've tried to do. I'm gonna do a video eventually of like if anybody's a Survivor fan, they have like Brains, Bronze, Beauty sort of thing, like on certain seasons, where they have a tribe of all people who are super smart, people who are super strong, and people who are good looking, basically. And I wanted to kind of do that, like figure out what are the three Ranger teams, and I think the strongest Ranger, just initially of by far of strength as far as a Blue Ranger would probably be Coda. from Dino Charge. He's like super strong. He's got the caveman strength, but yeah, he can freeze time for 10 seconds. That is a really good ability. Um, Video Bird. Sledge was in Ninja Steel. Didn't he get killed by the Rangers, thus bringing back the dinosaurs? Ooh. I'm going to have to rewatch that or something because I don't know. I don't want to start talking about that when I don't really remember. Jose, thanks for coming. Oh, whoops. Thanks for coming, man. Thank you, Jose. You've always been so nice to me in the comments. I appreciate it. Krispy Kreme, man. I love it. It's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Prism Ranger. RPM is like, wow, Power Rangers is more mature and it took it to a deeper level than I thought they would. Dino Thunder is like they took the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers formula and refined. Uh, and I can't read that. Kim de Perfect Dead. Yeah, or perfected it. Sorry, yeah. Is more perfected. Yeah, I Dino Thunder is also really good. I honestly, every season I watch Power Rangers, I'm kind of like, it's like, oh, I love that season, and then you watch another one, it's like, oh man, I love that season too. Like I like all these seasons. I don't know, I don't really have a season I super hate. I mean, like Megaforce was a little rough at times, but I'm not gonna sit there and say it's like just so horrible. I don't want to do that. But wish all Power Ranger series was still on Netflix and had always planned to look into other seasons. We'll definitely look into RPM. Yeah, dude, seriously, RPM is awesome. You have to watch that one. Yeah, I now that Netflix has acquired Power Rangers, I'm starting to get a little antsy. Like, okay, you own Power Rangers. When are you bringing it back? Like, it's kind of upsetting me a little bit. Let's see. Dino Thunder and RPM. I'm really sad when it's over. I wish I could watch them for the first time again. I know. I kind of feel that way too. But you notice, like, the more you watch it, you notice all the nuances of it that you never caught before. You know, it's like every little the actors and actresses of like Time Force. They're so good. They are so good, and they just there's little looks and like twinkles in their eye when they're looking at each other, and you can just tell like they're when you know what's going to happen, you kind of see all those little tiny details. Time Force, Dino Thunder are my favorite seasons, but unfortunately, that's where I petered off. Megaton Hammer, hey, that's okay. I petered off eventually too, and I'm telling you, you should jump into RPM. That's a really, really great season to jump into and watch if you haven't watched Power Rangers in a long time. You will kind of be amazed at where it's going. Um, See, special weapon abilities drain his powers, though. Oh, Atomic Art. Yeah, you're right. That's true. Still talking about the RPM Blue Ranger. Who'd win in a tug of war, Katie or Coda? Ooh, that's a good question. I Probably Katie because she's got like abnormal strength. Like she's got like this crazy amount of strength, right? Coda, I mean, he's super strong too, but like Katie's like lifting up cars. And like Coda's, I don't think I ever saw Coda lift up a car or anything like that. I mean, he's super strong, like really strong for a human, but Katie's like crazy strong. Okay, and here's one thing. I don't want to jump into this argument too much, but I saw one time someone posted who would win an arm wrestling match, and it was Katie or Tommy. And it's like, the amount of people who said Tommy, I was just like, come on, man. Katie's got like crazy superhuman strength. Not even close. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. And thank you, Prison Rangers, guys. I have been so overwhelmed with everybody's positivity. Um, there's been, I don't know, you see a lot of nasty comments on YouTube. And I've really just come to the point of if someone just says something that's blatantly just nasty, I just delete it. And I just don't, I'm not going to, because I don't, and especially if it's something nasty towards somebody else's comment, I don't like that. So I just take it off. But thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. It's funny that Lord Zedd is called the Emperor of Evil, and there's a villain stronger than him. I know. They, again, when people say Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was the best series of Power Rangers, like they were flying by the seat of their pants. They were just making stuff up as they go, and that's where I try to come in and just make sense of all of it. But yeah, a lot of it, they just they were just going. They say Rita's the most evil person in the universe, and then it's like, oh, but she works for Zedd, and then oh, and then there's Master Vile, who's even higher up than him, and then oh, now there's the United Alliance of Evil, and so they were just going. They were just doing what they could. So, uh, what's VOG? Potts Francis. What's what is that, guys? VOG FYI, you're the second person to put that. I don't know what that means. You gotta tell me. Oh, since we're supposed to be talking about Mystic Knights, I want to. Is anybody here from Germany? I have a question for you when it comes to Mystic Knights in Germany. A second season of the current show like is in April. Yeah, I heard it's going to be April or May, sometime around that. Um, and then Prism Ranger, they are putting all Power Rangers seasons on the Power Rangers YouTube. Yeah, they are on the YouTube channel. And Space is almost done, so wonder what's going to happen with Netflix. I know they've been putting them up on YouTube, but the thing that annoys me is that watching YouTube like on your TV is different. Like it doesn't always just go to the next episode. And like I watch Power Rangers with my son, and it's annoying because it always seems like we'll be watching and it's like, oh, the episode's over, and then it cuts to like some random music video, and I'm like, gosh darn it, I gotta look up the episode. So I really wish they would just put them back on Netflix. I don't know why they wouldn't, considering they now own Power Rangers. uh Apparently rumors are end of the year we will know about the new Power Rangers multiverse. Rather, at least the new Rangers and maybe some sort of trailer or something. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I hope that we get something. Because someone the other day was asking what's going to happen after Dino Fury, and it's like we don't know yet. Rawl asked, "What about Overdrive? It started bad, ended worse, but the final boss was excellent. Still shocked watching Flurious kill Moltor so graphic." I gotta be okay. Here's my thing. I'm not with Operation Overdrive. I think Operation Overdrive gets like just beaten down a lot. I don't think Operation Overdrive is really that awful. You know, I think it's it's very campy, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was. It's a lot like that. In my opinion, there's people who say they hate Dex, and his character is just like he's a fun comic relief sort of ranger, and there's been rangers like that in the past. But I don't know. I liked it. I thought the thing about every season of Power Rangers has its own thing. Operation Overdrive was there were so many villains. That was kind of the concept. Is like there's just tons of villains going after this, which was kind of a cool idea. Um, Video Bird, remember when Zordon said, "Kill me to get rid of evil," and Space Red killed him? Where did the evil from Lost Galaxy come from? I think it came from the Lost Galaxy. That was kind of a theory of mine for a while, that like all these villains like Scorpina and the ones that like we've never heard from again, or I know like Hyperforce has gone into some of that, but I haven't watched Hyperforce. My theory was always that they somehow got into some crew who went into the Lost Galaxy, which Captain Mutiny's in the Lost Galaxy, and I don't think it ever reached them. I do have theories though, like the Alpha video I was talking about. I think Onyx, maybe there was a way that the planet of Onyx was safe, and they were able to block the ray. You might have to watch the video to know why, but I think because when there's Piranhatrons and stuff in Lost Galaxy on that planet, so which of course was just the costume design people just being like, hey, these are free. Prism Ranger, Tommy lovers. I know. I like. Hey, I love Tommy back in the day, but come on. The dinosaur / animal powers are very powerful because their powers come from willpower and spirits compared to technology. Which one were you referring to there? Yeah, I'll just say I think the Dino Fury ones are always really good. I think the series in general is really hurting by not having a quality video game to partner with the series Toys were a huge selling point for the franchise towards kids. Most kids don't play with action figures anymore. Marty, I think you have a good point. Okay, I'm going to say my idea for the Power Ranger video game. Okay, $1 million idea, probably not, but my idea is I wish, because we always have, there's very like, there's kind of a cookie cutter way of doing it, right? We have sort of like our beginning where they figure out how they get their powers. We have the kind of development of like they're getting their Zords and figuring out how to use those. They get new weapons. They get all these things. We usually have some sort of like evil rangers we have to fight. There's always usually some sort of like the villain gets escalated to a bigger villain or something like that. I really wish that we would have a Power Ranger game that you design your own Power Ranger suit, and it like makes you 5 Rangers or 3 Rangers, and it just has a general storyline, sort of like if you're playing like a Madden game where you can make your own team jerseys or something. I would love for that to happen. I think that would be the coolest thing in the world. Like you make up your own team, and then it kind of makes up its own storyline. I mean, I think it's definitely possible to do, um, and I think that would be a really cool way to do it. But yeah, I think video games for Power Rangers have never been a huge focal focus, and man, I wish they would. I really do. Prism Ranger, it was hard to reference old episodes back then, like unless you recorded it on VHS or caught every single episode, you didn't notice so many plot holes, but now you can see it as a whole. Yeah. It's funny because I remember I was at my uncle's house, and oh geez, sorry about that. Oh geez. I was at my aunt and uncle's house when I was a kid, and they had this Power Ranger marathon on, which was like every crossover episode up to like past like Lightspeed Rescue or something. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, do you have a VHS that I can record with? And so they gave me a VHS, and I put it in their recorder, and I recorded the whole thing, because it was like, yeah, you just didn't get to see these episodes. So you had to, I recorded the whole entire season of Ninja Storm on VHS, which I think those got thrown away, but I did it at one point. Video Bird, Zordon cleared evil in his universe. That's why when went off into new Rangers every season, because it's technically in different dimensions in multiverse. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say which seasons are in what dimension. I really would love if they just took a season and said, like, hey, this season is in the same dimension as Dino Charge because there's dinosaurs everywhere. I would love that. That would be really cool if they just did that. And even if it wasn't a dino focused season, just like, hey, they drive race cars and there's dinosaurs everywhere. I think that would be really fun. And just they would say, yeah, they're in the same dimension as those. On the Mystic Knights side, surprisingly, Angus was my favorite Ranger, though he was basically the rogue of the team. He kind of was the best actor. Who was your favorite knight? Yeah, Angus in Mystic Knights, he was like kind of the cool guy. He was the funny guy. But yeah, I think my favorite was probably Rowan. The older I get, I would say when I was a kid, like when it comes to Power Rangers, I was really into Tommy, right? Because I always felt like I was sort of the Lone Ranger as a child. I felt like I didn't always have a group of friends that I was really tight with. I always felt kind of like an outsider. So I really gravitated towards Tommy because he was the outsider. And he also had the girls. So I was like, that was, and then the older I get, and now I'm 30, I run a big band. I have sort of more of a leadership role in my life. I more gravitate towards like Jason, because he was such a great leader. He was such a natural leader. And so that's one thing that I think about. I probably would gravitate towards Rowan right now. D. Solaris Knight, I think of Overdrive in the same way. I used to hate it in 2007 at age 12, but after recently watching it, I'm like, I don't love it, but it's got more decent aspects and moments than I remembered. Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't feel it's really that bad. I think it was a bit detrimental being so close to RPM in some of those seasons that were so great that people because what did come before? Um, Jungle Fury, I believe, was after it. Was Mystic Force before it? That like Mystic Force, there's a really cult following for that one. Jungle Fury is a great season, and the RPM was a great season. So I think people kind of go, that season sucked, and I was like, nah, it was a good season. Like if that season came after Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, it would have been a great season. People would have liked it. Um, let's see. Let me see here. A theory on where the evil came from. It's a multiverse thing, and evil is coming from other universes to fill the void. The ones that left, the one we know, kind of like the too much pink energy is bad. No evil energy. There's nothing for the good to battle against, and it screws up the grid up. And you need villains in the toy box because who are they going to fight? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think the Morphin Grid has a yin yang sort of quality to it that um, it has to there has to be there's evil because whenever the Rangers are like done fighting the bad guy, it's like, well, we're no longer Rangers and that's it. So I think the Morphing Grid has to have that. There has to be an evil side to it. So jumping into anybody watching Dino Fury currently, I feel like Void Knight is definitely connected to the Ranger powers in that way that when they created the Rangers, the Dino Fury Rangers, Void Knight was created, like the Dark Inner Gem from Dino Charge. That's just a theory I have. Let's see, Jose. I saw something on Reddit where Ranger fans are doing the game thing. I see some cool Ranger designs and 3D printed figures. Yeah, are you talking about the tabletop game? Um, yeah, there's some really cool stuff out there um, that I would love to. I mean, I would love to play that tabletop game. I just don't have anybody who would want to play it right now with me. That's so cool about the VHS tapes you have. Cool to see the old commercials. Yeah, I love the old commercials, man. It's so cool to see those because they're kind of funny, and it's amazing when you watch those because they played them constantly. You would see the same commercial like 30 times on a Saturday morning, and you would see it for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And so when you see one of those commercials from 2004 or something, it's like you immediately remember it. You're like, oh, this is a Gushers commercial, like immediately because it's so ingrained in your head, even though you couldn't recite it from memory, but like you just see it and Marty, yes, I never thought about the create your own team aspect. Love that idea. Seems as though Hasbro is more than willing to give the license out to somebody willing. Hopefully, a video game developer sets up. Yeah, I would love for that to happen because I think there's so many people who love making fan fiction of Power Rangers that just a game that's like literally here's your Ranger team. Like you make your own Ranger team. You can pick if it's like dino focused or car focused or animal focused or space or whatever. And then what would be even cooler is if there was an online aspect to where you do a crossover mission with another person's ranger team and you get to learn about their team too. I think that would be really cool. Um, the seasons after Time Force are prequel to Time Force. Let's see, what was after Time Force and then it was Wild Force. Are you talking like the Disney era? Is that what you're saying? Bird? Video Bird? Rita escaped the master by turning into light. Maybe Zedd transferred a bit of his dark energy to another dimension before the Z wave hit. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think he just got turned. I mean, if you're going with a theory in the video where he's the master of all evil, I just think that he was turned into the master of all evil later on. As an adult, I am not a fan of Jason David Frank for being a bully to David Yost. I haven't heard directly if he was bullying him or not. I remember seeing an interview with David Yost where he said like he used to babysit Jason's kids. So I don't know. Um, I have a hard time because JDF is a huge figure in Power Rangers, and he's done a lot for the franchise. He's done a lot for Ranger fans. But I have heard some people say he's not like behind the scenes. He's not the nicest guy. But I don't know how true that is. It's hard because there are people who make up make up rumors about actors. Um, but I worked in a concert venue for a few years, and there were a lot of times where you'd meet a band and find out that wow, those guys are not very nice people. So I'm like kind of torn on that. It was the creators of the show being the bullies, not Jason David Frank. Yeah, I mean, for the things I heard was um, that it was a lot of the crew. I think like camera people and stuff like that. I don't know how true that is, but I don't know. The other thing is David Yost is very like into the idea of coming back. So I don't know. I don't know. Like it's a weird thing. Um, Scott Pagter, he said that all this disputing was actually over the fact that David lost a bonus. I don't know if that's true, but Scott Pagter unfortunately recently passed away, so I don't want to. It's a hard thing to discuss, but he said that it was he claims that people were not bullying him, but I don't know. I was fortunate enough to meet both David and JDF at Comic Con. Tommy was obviously my favorite as a kid, but meeting them as an adult, David Yost put in the time and genuinely got to know each fan. I have to say that's also partly because not to defend JDF, but he usually has a huge line of people, more than most other people. I would assume David does too, though. But I think I think he has learned that he's got to move it along. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm gonna have to go galactic out here. My internet's data usage goes up easily watching live streams. I wanted to stop by real quick because I dig you and your channel. Keep up the good work. Solaris Knight. Hey, thanks, man. I'm sorry if you didn't see me do that comment, but thank you or read that comment. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's really cool. Do you not really see them much at the same cons? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see cons because I'm kind of in the Midwest and they don't really come this way that often with a lot of people. It's usually like there's maybe one or two, but you know how some seasons take place in another world, some in the future and some in the present. I want to see a prequel to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't. It would be interesting. I mean, Netflix. We'll see what they do with it because they might. I mean, they might do something where they do like a prequel um, to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers or something like that. Um, at one point in time, they kind of stated like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were the first Rangers ever on Earth, but there's so many comic books and different things that show Rangers prior and all that stuff that I don't know. I think that's kind of out the window at this point. Um, Jose, I would love to see David as a mentor. I would too. I think he would do it too, honestly. I think he would be great. I think he would do a really great season, partly because what David uh, stands for, like what he really finds passionate with the Trevor Project and all those things. I think he would really want to do a good job and make it into something. He has a whole project he's been talking about with a Power Ranger reunion, and it's been on Instagram and stuff. I haven't. I need to reread it, but um, yeah, Samuel Benta will stole a poster for sick children. Yes or no? This video doesn't settle. His video doesn't settle things. So if anybody doesn't know, I'm assuming. I mean, a lot of you who are here probably know. But Samuel Banta, who played Will in Operation Overdrive, there was a very big controversy. The first Power Morphicon that the Operation Overdrive Rangers went to, where they signed two gigantic posters for a children's cancer, I believe it was children's cancer charity. They're supposed to be auctioned off and go to the charity, and there's literally a video on like an old fashioned camcorder of Samuel Banta taking one of the posters, and like walking out of the convention or walking out of the banquet room with it. And so the workers stated that he took it and then just took it and never gave it back. And there were people, and the workers said, like, please give that to me. I don't want to lose my job. That I need to keep that safe. I need to make sure. And he just kept, like, they said he was kind of like chuckling at them, like making fun of them, like, oh, well, you better watch me or something. I don't know. So that was years ago. That was like 2007 or something like that, or whenever the show came out. Or no, yeah, 2007. All these years later, Samuel Banta did a YouTube video where he said, he had the poster to keep it safe, and he was in the room where like the green room where all the actors are allowed to go, and he said that he went and like got a drink with some of the other actors, looked over, and it was gone. And so he's trying to, well, I don't want to say that, but he's kind of trying to play it off as like everybody who has not supported him, who has just labeled him a villain, are all a bunch of jerks, and you guys should have supported him and asked him what really happened. Um, I don't know, man. That's hard. If I ever had a mix up like that, I would have I would have come right out right away and talked about it. I wouldn't have waited over a decade to come out and say something. So it's really weird to me. It's really suspicious to me that he would do that. Um, and there's a lot of people theorizing that he realized that maybe he could start doing conventions and make some side money, and so now he's trying to repair his relationship with the Ranger community. But I'm kind of proud of the people who stand up for it, because it's kind of a crappy thing. And if his story is true and someone stole it, why did he have it in the first place? He shouldn't have had it. That's kind of my opinion. But uh, imagine some funky 1970s people getting chosen by wizards to become Power Rangers. Yes, I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, people who just use phrases like groovy, man. Um, I always thought, there's all these people doing these fan shows, and I always thought, why did no one take an old Sentai before the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season, and like just do film all the side stuff themselves and then voice over like they do for the show? I always thought, why don't they just do that? C2E2 Chicago, not sure where you're located, but Power Rangers is usually represented pretty well. A lot of cool stuff. Yeah, I'm in Illinois. I'm in like southern Illinois compared to Chicago. Um, but yeah, I haven't made it up there to go to like a con or anything like that. I probably should. Here's the thing: is I'll be honest, when it comes to cons, I don't really know much about like anime or any other fan, or like any other show from those things besides Power Rangers. So it's like the percentage of stuff I'm actually going to go out and check out is going to be very slim compared to, like, I'm just going to walk up to the Power Rangers people and be, hey, and then it's like I'm pretty much done after that. So it's kind of it's always kind of a big trip for me for probably not that much payoff. But ooh, would love it if they kept up the inclusion in Power Rangers with future LGBT Rangers. Yeah, I want to do a video talking about, because to be quite honest, I think Izzy in Dino Fury, if you're not watching Dino Fury, you really should. I think she's going to go down as one of the greatest characters in Power Ranger history, to be honest. I love the way they did it. I love how they introduced her character. I love that they didn't label her from the very first episode as LGBTQ and then like harass people to like her. They just made her this super super lovable character. And then yes, she's LGBTQ, and I just think that, I thought that was great. I think they did it so well, and I'm proud of the franchise for doing it. They did it really well. And Tessa Rayo is an, like, every interview I've seen of her, she's just an awesome person, smiley, very happy, and they did a good job. It was good timing. It was done well. So I think they'll continue to do it. I can't imagine they would not. I have Video Bird. I have a theory that Rangers can combine like Dragon Ball or Steven Universe, since Tanya was Turbo Yellow, but Trini and Aisha were. Um, yeah, I gotta be honest. See, this is where like going to Comic Cons are hard for me, because I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z or like any of that stuff, or I don't even know what Steven Universe is. I'm sorry. Um, D. Solaris 9. I was about to leave, but I saw that Samuel Benta comment wanted to hear what you know. Reminded me of what I heard. And wow, ain't Sam ain't making sense. Wow. Now I'll skedaddle. Okay, see you later, Solaris. Have a good one, man. Uh, yeah, man, I don't know. That's that whole situation. It's just a he said, she said sort of thing. And there's no way now. It's like the people who worked the convention way back in the day, it's like how no one who's gonna locate that person. We don't know. So it's there's no way to like have it really resolved. Unfortunately, I think he didn't come out and talk about it. And the first thing they could have done is said he could have come out immediately after this happened and said, I am so sorry this happened. Listen, I will pay for a new banner. Or if he didn't really have that much money, he could beg, Disney to help him out and say, I'm so sorry I screwed this up. Could you guys please make another banner? I'll sign it and we can send it around to everybody and have them sign it. That's what he should have done. But let's see. Alpha, we need 5 groovy, hip, rad individuals. Yeah. My Morphin Power Rangers Yellow, they fused with each other before the Mega Force legendary battle. Oh, so you're saying like all 3 of them combined into one Yellow Ranger. Okay, I gotcha. Um, yeah, it's so sad that Twee Trang uh, is not here anymore because man, she was such a great ranger, honestly. Um, she's so I mean, you look at her and you don't think of her as this big, you know, uh, threat when it comes to fighting, but she was really well skilled. There's a video on YouTube of her being interviewed. I mean, this was like right after she had left Power Rangers, but it's an interview of her, and it's talking about Asian actors and actresses in martial arts, and she was interviewed because I mean at the time Power Rangers was huge. Like she was the most popular like martial artist, female martial artist in like the world, really, when you think about it. So, uh, let's see. I go to Redis Nota flavor. Oh, sorry. Red is not a flavor. Wow, man. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible at reading. I'm terrible at reading. Uh, is Lightspeed Rescue's theme underrated, and why is the answer yes? I love that theme. It's a good one. That's a great. That whole season is awesome. Lightspeed Rescue is one of those seasons that when you say what's your like top 10 or top 3 favorite seasons, I that's not one I initially think of right away, and then I watch Lightspeed and I'm like, oh, this is such a great season. I love Lightspeed Rescue. It's so good. It's like Chad and Joel from Lightspeed Rescue. They are like the pioneers in being two Rangers can be the comic relief characters. Up to that point, pretty much there was always some like silly character who was like really weird and ditzy or strange, and they were the funny comic relief people. But that was the first season that it was Chad and Joel were the funny guys. They were hilarious, and they were just. And then also you got Chad. I've been on a real Mike Chat tangent lately, like looking at all his videos and stuff. Who played Chad? Amazing martial artist. He's just insanely good, and you can tell when you watch that season how incredible of a martial artist he is because his fight scenes are all him, and there's very little cuts. It's just him doing all these great moves, and everybody else is like a punch, and then it switches camera views to where you see the back of their head because they have a stunt double doing it. So Lightspeed Rescue, they got that theme's awesome. Uh, see, I want to go back and save her. What? What do you mean? Save who? Oh, Trini, I know, man. I know. It's just horrible. It's so sad. Um, and like all the other Rangers, especially Walter Jones and Austin St. John. They have been so great, and I'm sure it's hard after at every Comic Con, at every convention, to have people ask them about Twee, and because they were so close with her, and but they're always so great talking about her and how great she was. There's some good videos on YouTube too of Austin St. John just sharing stories about her. which is really cool. There's some people who are being jerks in the comments, being like, "You're just pandering, trying to get views," but he's really just sharing his memories of her, and it's beautiful. Zach Ferguson just popped in to say your channel is so good. Your theories are great. The space retroactive uh, was great. I appreciate your work, and I can't wait to see the future of your channel. Hey, thanks, man. Hey, boom. Thanks, Zach. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Uh, Jose, have a nice night. Thank you for your time and your thoughts. You are valid. Thank you. Thank you, Jose. Thank you so much, man. Seriously. Um, I all you guys who have been commenting, this has been so much fun. Seriously. And Jose, I appreciate you always put really nice comments on my videos, and it means a lot. Anybody who calls Power Rangers racist needs to stop calling it that. Um, Video Bird, I'm assuming you're probably talking about like the whole, the Black Ranger being black, Yellow Ranger being Asian. That's another one of those things that, God bless Walter Jones. That guy answers that question in literally every interview he's ever in. He answers that question at every Comic Con he goes to. Every convention, he has to answer the question, is Power Rangers racist? And he always does it so well. And if you haven't seen him say it, I mean, there's tons of videos online of him talking about it. But one of the big things he says is just that, it was the 90s. It was the early 90s, and he was the first African American superhero on TV. The first. That is crazy, It's crazy. And he just got to do so many cool things, and he got to be inspiration. And as somebody, honestly, who grew up in a very like white bread town, I didn't view him as this, like, I didn't view him in any sort of racist way. It was like, he's Zach, man, he's so cool. And I never thought about him being the Black Ranger. I never thought that. It's like, I always just thought he was awesome. And he does explain really well just the Sentai counterpart. The Black Ranger, or the Black Sentai Ranger, was supposed to be the Red Ranger's best friend. And so it was just like the way, and especially at that time period, it worked out really well. Thank goodness. I mean, Selwyn Ward in Turbo became the first African American Red Ranger. Man, he was amazing. Trini really set the tone of the peaceful, graceful Yellow Ranger, who is also very bad A, yeah, and in a can fight kind of way. Would have been interesting how it would have gone with the original actress Audrey. Yeah, So if you don't know, there was another actress who was going to play Trini, um, but I don't know for sure what it is. But there's some of the actors, like Walter Jones said that she was asking for more money, and that's why she got kicked off. She was she was a great martial artist. And she was a little more intimidating. Like, she just was a little bit, I don't know. She just had a little bit like wider shoulders. She looked like someone who could really fight. And Twee didn't really look. She had a much more peaceful look to her. I don't know, man. Everybody goes on about Kimberly, and I always liked Trini more. I always thought she was awesome. She could fight. She could do everything. Red is not a flavor. Hot take. I think Shelby from Dino Charge is a top 3 Pink Ranger. Them fighting words. No, I do agree with you, actually, because she is a very great example of the modern woman. She really is. Like, she is, she's just, she has drive in her life, and she knows what she wants to do, and it's cool. It's really cool that her character is great. I think that her also kind of having the whole love story with Tyler I like that. That's okay. I don't have anything against that. But that's what I think, that Amelia in Dino Fury, I feel like she's kind of like Shelby 1.0 or 2.0. Like, she is kind of like, she has that same drive and everything, but she doesn't have so much the love story, which is okay. The only thing I don't like about Lightspeed is the trains thing. Before they form Megazord, the city could get destroyed. Red is you said the trains were cool. Yeah, no, I actually, that's one of my favorite Zords is the train, like the big train Zord, because it had missiles. And I remember I was still watching Power Rangers. My brothers didn't really watch; they were older than me, but they like saw I was watching it and they saw this Zord and the missiles. Like, is that thing shooting missiles? And I was like, yeah. It was like the cool, like, because usually it's just these beams, you know, like so it's a beam shooting out. There's sparks at, but these are real freaking missiles being shot outside of a Zord. It was awesome. I loved it. Um, love Walter. I love the Black Ranger. Hip Hop Keto is a greatest of all time style. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then she was more Fury. It takes too long. What are you talking about? It takes too long. Oh, it takes too long for the Zords. Yeah. I mean, but they all are kind of like that, aren't they? They're all kind of like that. Um, all right. Well, since we're, I know this has just gone off into a conversation, which I love. I love talking to you guys, so I'm cool with it. I have a couple more comments from the uh, Mystic Knights video, so I'll read. This one is Knight Industry 1337. I want a Mystic Knights reunion. It was better than the Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle BS. They didn't say BS. Come on, guys, be nice in the comments. And so on. I don't really know what they mean by and so on, if they mean Power Rangers after that. Listen, I like Mystic Knights. It was cool. Um, was it as well put together as the seasons around it with Power Rangers? No, it wasn't. Um, Power Rangers in Space was was like way more ahead of its time. And Lost Galaxy was huge. They're two of the greatest Power Rangers seasons of all time. And the Mystic Knights, the action was pretty meh. You know, it's just they were trying to get their bearings. You know, but martial arts wasn't a focus in that show, so it was just kind of these uh, big swords being lobbed at each other, and they just really didn't know what they were doing. It's okay though. Um, let's see. Also, what I meant is the original had two females. One was a Valley girl, and the other would have been more stern. Sorry, you're talking about Fury, as in Aubrey, yeah, Dubois, and they kind of did that in later seasons, and did Trini's character again as well. Um, yeah, I mean, I love if you watch any of the panel videos of the Yellow Ranger panel. Um, it's kind of fun because they always talk about how a couple of them will say like, I liked being the Yellow Ranger. Like everybody talked about how like, don't you want to be the Pink Ranger? And they're like, no, because the Yellow Ranger was always kind of the sassy one, or it was the one. There was more character in the Yellow Ranger typically. I mean, with the exception of like Jen Scott, of course, but yeah, it was always more. Um, they just had more character development. It was, I don't know, they got to be more sassy, or they got to have more, I don't know, but you know there's every season has a little different touch to it. So I remember loving the Forest Knight best. uh Lincoln, hey, welcome Lincoln. Yeah, the Forest Knight was awesome. They just didn't give him nearly the amount of time they should have. Like, I mean, you have Tommy became the most popular character of all time, and in Mystic Knights they brought in this fifth knight, and they just never really did anything with it. They kind of let it fall to the wayside, which was kind of sucks. But he was awesome. I liked him. Um, Fun note: I went to high school with the Yellow Ranger in Ninja Steel. Oh, dude, can you get me an interview? No. Hey, that's awesome, man. That's really cool. Um, yeah, is he from America or is he from New Zealand? I don't know. So, uh, because I don't know. I mean, because it's hard to tell sometimes. Because man, New Zealanders have such a great accent. Typically, let's see. I'm trying to look it up. Now I think I only have. Oh, I have a couple more comments. I'll read one. Uh, let's see. Actor Nico. Let's see. Where is he from? Where are you guys from? Okay, he's from America. Virginia. Hey, Virginia. Um, oh, that's cool, man. That's awesome. Uh, let's see. Okay, so another one of my comments is Mystic Knights aren't part of the Power Rangers universe. Okay, so that comment actually is not true because I was actually informed of this because I haven't seen the whole series, but apparently, sorry if this is a spoiler alert if you're watching Hyperforce, but Hyperforce apparently does have a episode or whatever you want to call it, a session where they meet the Mystic Knights, and then this person continues to say that that doesn't count. Um, Saban Saban was owning Power Rangers at the time when Hyperforce came through, and Saban has stated that it is an official Power Rangers season. So the people who say Mystic Knights are not connected to Power Rangers are completely wrong. They are connected, actually. North Virginia. Oh wait, what? Let's see. Oh man, sorry, I missed a few. Uh, Rangers, sports cars racing, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2 was a prequel to Turbo. Okay. Yo, what's good? Love from the UK. Hey, Alpha Kings, 123. Hey man, thank you. That's awesome, guys. I'm amazed. I'm so amazed with people all around the world. That is so freaking cool. Like seriously, I grew up in a time where you couldn't communicate with people literally across an ocean. Do you know how crazy that is? We're talking two people are talking. There is a freaking ocean in between us with whales and sharks and all sorts of things in between us right now. And we are just like, "Hey, how's it going?" It's so cool. That's so cool, man. Thanks for watching. Uh, Northern Virginia. I'm sure that's very important to you. Didn't know him that like that, but yeah, Laugh a lot. The future is now. Is that a big deal in Virginia that there's like there's North Virginia and there's like Virginia? I'm from Illinois, and I will tell you this. I hope no. Is anybody from Chicago? Let me know if you're from Chicago, because I don't mean anything hateful towards you, but I usually ask people, uh, two people here it is. Yeah, of course. See, that's what I'm talking about. If you ask anybody, like I don't know how your perception of what Chicago is, but a lot of people who talk about Chicago, like, oh, there's like New York, Chicago, LA, whatever these big cities. Uh, what's VOYFYI? Dude, guys, what is that? Church Shepherd. What does that mean, dude? Uh, but anyway, um, most people who are not in Chicago pretty much hate Chicago. Like Illinois in general hates Chicago just completely. Um, and one of the examples is like during the quarantine when the whole COVID thing first happened. Basically, Chicago was telling the whole state what to do, and that upset a lot of people. And the other thing is that the mayor of Chicago told everybody basically like you can't go anywhere, you have to stay home, you can't go to any service places. And then they posted these pictures of her getting her hair cut at at some haircut place like the next day, and so people were furious because they're like, you can't go around telling the whole state what to do. And then and generally, if you look at a map of Illinois in any election, it's literally Chicago is one color, the whole state's another color, and Chicago always has more people. So uh, that's just how it goes, you know. Um, hey, Raw, you asked me about my music channel. So I actually have a music channel that it's really I kind of did it before I was doing this that was geared towards music teachers and educators. So it's kind of I don't know if it's really that interesting to most people because it's not like a music like songs I've written or something. Like it's not really like that. It's like um, talking about putting on concerts and different things like that. I do have a band called the Original Scaz Band. They that is, am I able to do? I don't know if I can do that. That is, it's the original Skazz, like jazz with like it's ska and jazz mixed together, in the band. And it's a big band. I run a jazz band, and I write all the charts for it, and it's all cool. I like it. Prism Ranger, yeah, it's the big city thing. Yeah, yeah. So, are you from a big city, or are you from what's the big city in Virginia? Sorry, I wish I don't know. Is it Richmond? Is that like the big city everybody hates in Virginia? That'd be very interesting. Uh, let's see. Yeah, Nova is right by DC, so it's that kind of. Oh, okay, gotcha. Do do people hate? Um, do people hate DC around there? Link it somewhere. Ah, okay. I gotta find. I don't know how to make a comment on here. I'll figure it out. Chicago is the Windy City. Yes, it is. And see, and actually, someone asked earlier, like, oh, there's Comic Cons in Chicago, and it's like there is a part of me as a Southern Illinois person who's like, I don't want to go to Chicago, but I don't. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not trying to hate on Chicago. It's just it's always those are the type of things I always love hearing from other people, because it's like you don't know. And I asked someone the other day because they were from Missouri, and St. Louis and Kansas City are two cities that are real big cities connected to Missouri. And I'm like, does everybody hate St. Louis? And he was like, no, everybody loves St. Louis. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting because everybody hates Chicago. Um, that's awesome. Big band stuff is awesome. Uh, a lot of hard work being a band leader. Yeah, dude, it is a lot of hard work. I've done it for 10 years now. I started when I was a freshman in college, and it's really it's a lot. I mean, it's you deal with a lot of personalities and people who I've had people who have been in the band 9 years, and like all of a sudden they just have this like huge issue, and they just start being a jerk or something, and it's really weird because you're like, I've been friends with this person for 9 years, and all of a sudden they're flying off the handle, acting like a real. I don't know, man. It's a lot. But I enjoy it. It's fun. You're never gonna where I'm from, which is not in a big city. You're never going to become a professional musician doing that, but it's fun. I just enjoy it. We do have a music video called Summer Love, which is a fun it's a ska tune. The singer, his name's Victor Griffith, and he does an amazing job. Like it's great. And a friend of mine, his name's David Zorb, he filmed it, and it's really funny and comical. And there's a girl from my high school, Victor's from my high school, and then there's a girl that did drama with Victor, and she went to school in Chicago and then came back, and so they did this like kind of it's a play on. It's kind of a funny like uh, crazy girlfriend sort of song, but it's fun if you ever want to check it out. Uh, hey, Marty S. Chicago suburbs here relate more with Wisconsin residents than friends in Chicago. Yeah, that actually I've heard people say that. Yeah, I've heard that. I mean, I don't know. Chicago's just a crazy place, man. Like, it's nuts. Like, it's kind of scary to me. Every time I've been up in the city, one time I was up in the city and we were riding like the L, like the little kind of train, and I was with my wife and her sister, and there was this guy on the L, and he was saying creepy, creepy things and talking about them doing awful. It was disgusting. But it's like, what do you do? The guy's nuts. It's like you don't want to start a fight, but and the guy's just crazy. It's dude. It's like I don't feel good being there, but. Richmond, the city, is very artsy, hipster kind of place with good nightlife, but it's surrounded by a lot of conservatives. Up north or right outside DC, it's like a bunch of country. That is the DC suburbs. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, the basic intense extensive of DC but Southwest Virginia is really big and a lot of farmland, if you know what I mean. So like Nova and Richmond control a lot of Virginia. Well, that's kind of, yeah, it's kind of like what Chicago is in Illinois. As a Western Illinois resident, I would rather not go to Chicago. Yeah, I like it. See, I'm not hating on Chicago, but I'm just telling people that that's very. Where are you from, Western wise? Because I used to work as a road rep for a music store, and I drove like all around Illinois. So I wonder if I'd know if you're from like Dwight, Illinois, or like Pontiac or something. Because I drove that way a lot. Um, Basically, if you aren't in Richmond or around DC, some places here and there, it's very rural and more conservative. But I grew up in LA and moved to Nova when I was 10. Okay, cool, man. Well, this is so funny we're like getting into this stuff, but I had a college professor one year because, college typically is more liberal. Um, and this kid was trying to just start a fight. I mean, he was just trying to start a fight in class about Quad Cities. Oh, sorry, West. What am I, stupid? Yeah, sorry, I was thinking East. But yeah, Quad Cities. Hey, man, that's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. Uh, I'm not too. I'm like, I think it's only like an hour and a half drive to the Quad Cities where I am. But um, yeah, like this professor of mine, this kid was being a jerk. He was just trying to start a fight, and he just basically cut down to the point of like living conditions change the way you view things. So like if you live in a city and you're tightly packed in with a lot of people, you're going to kind of side one way politically. And if you live out in the middle of nowhere and you just want to be left alone, typically you're going to side more in that direction. So I don't know. I always thought that's kind of a realistic way to put it, but we got Southern, Western, and Northern Illinois. Not a fan of Chicago. Yeah, I always joke too that if like people, because I've heard people in Chicago say like, "Oh, you're Southern Illinois" or whatever, and so I'm kind of from Peoria area, um, and there's people who will refer to that as Southern Illinois, but Peoria is like right dead center, oh, well, almost dead center of Illinois. So it's like when people say Southern Illinois, it's like it's not Southern Illinois, it's like central as in the center of it. Small world, yeah, man. I mean, it's cool. It's cool that we have people um, that are nearby, and then there's people from the UK, all sorts of people. So that's awesome. This is really fun, guys. Honestly, um, I'll uh, I'll go to. I have like I think this might be. I have a couple more of these questions. Uh, yes, the theory is believable, but Lord Zedd was brought back in Dino Fury, and he had no idea where his staff was. Um, so we're talking about the theory of Lord Zedd being turned into the Great Master of Evil, and they're saying that that doesn't. The theory is believable, but Lord Zedd was brought back in Power Rangers Dino Fury, but he was a copy of Lord Zedd. He wasn't a real. He wasn't actually Lord Zedd, like who went through everything. He's like a copy of him before that time. Hey man, this channel and all you're doing, I'm enjoying it so much. JTUniverse.net. Hey, thanks, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope it's entertaining. I hope it's fun for everybody. So it's really been awesome. I enjoy it. Uh, and then they were saying how Lord Zedd has no idea where his staff was. This is something I really, really hope that they bring up the fact that Thrax in Overdrive had Lord Zedd's staff. And I hope that they make some sort of reference or some sort of hint at him going to find like the resting place of his son or something like that and getting the staff back. Of course, if he's a copy, he doesn't really know he has a son, which I don't know. I hope that they pay homage to it and they don't just like blow it off. You know what I mean? Um, and I think this is the last. Yeah, this is the last comment on this video. Maeve wasn't good or evil. She was just power hungry. So Maeve and doing the band, I'm sure is a lot, but appreciate yours. Everyone's good vibes. Hey, yeah, thanks. Yeah, so this last comment I have is Master Monarch, and they say Maeve wasn't good or evil. She was just power hungry. So the whole entire season of Mystic Knights, Maeve says this is my land. Like this was promised to me. Um, didn't Beast Morphers have his staff? Oh, they probably did. I'll have to look at it again. Yeah, they had a lot of stuff in there, which I don't know. That's probably something I should do a video of, is talk about all the stuff that was in there and how in the world did it get there. But anytime, man, love giving positive things in the world. I forgot about this. Zedd was a copy. I thought it was just a Zedd from another timeline, like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Well, I mean, kind of is, but yeah, it's just. But he had the ability to copy anybody, like any monster. Um, so I don't know. Maeve. So this whole idea, Maeve being wasn't evil. She was actually just um, power hungry or whatever. They constantly refer to the fact that this is her land. This was her family's land, and it was taken from her. And that being the subject to me is always interesting because they never actually address, like, was this her family's land? Is King Conifer taking this away from her? Like, is he actually not supposed to be the king here? And um, I personally, I just think King Conifer is actually the bad guy, and that Maeve was actually just defending, wanting to take back what was her rightful land as her family, or um, as Kel, or as Tamara was supposed to be. Um, and I think that would have been a really cool story arc to uncover, is that Maeve actually was, in the end, kind of the good guy, and she was just trying to do what was right for her people and all that. So that's, yeah, I think that would be a really cool storyline. Um, Rangers have more power since 25 years ago. How is he going to deal with his new, stronger Rangers when he couldn't handle the Zeo ones? Lord Zedd not being able to handle the Zeo Rangers, or yeah, I don't know, but they're talking about the fact that this is at the prime, because you have to remember, before he was at the moon with Rita, he was this huge villain who conquered, like, planets and universes and all this stuff. So they copied him at the prime timeline of his evil, whatever that means. Uh, well, it means that he is basically, this is like the height. This was his peak as a evil villain. So I think maybe he softened up a little bit when he started working with Rita. Maybe his group of henchmen just weren't really top notch. Like he didn't have the best group. I mean, Goldar was okay, but most of the people, Squat and Babu were kind of worthless. So I think maybe if he gets a good crew together in Dino Fury, he might be really hard to beat. I don't know. Hi, I just found this channel here is a watermelon. Thank you very much. I love watermelon. Um, Marty S. Cool seeing you live. Getting late though. Got to be up at 4:30 for work. Laugh a lot. Appreciate all the videos. Look forward to more content. Do you have a set time, day of the week you do lives? I don't yet. This is the first one I've done. Um, I just thought it'd be really fun to try out and hang out with you guys for a little bit. Honestly, this was really cool, going down like little rabbit holes with you. Um, I I'm usually not good at speaking. Like, you can hear me stutter and a lot, and so when I do my videos, I take a lot of time to record them and cut out all the ums and all that stuff. So this was honestly a little bit of a scary thing to do, but I really have enjoyed it. I like having real conversations with people. So, and again, it's just so cool. I mean, meeting people from Quad Cities and different areas nearby, and then people from other countries and stuff like that. That's really cool. So I've really enjoyed it. Uh, was because that's Power Rangers. Yes, it is. um, oh, thank you. I'm trying. I, I've discovered, actually, gotten to do a few interviews. The one with Dan Brosnan on the Fan Club YouTube channel was really fun. but I heard myself saying like about like this. I say like a lot, and I realized that I actually use the word like when I want to say about. So when I want to say it's about 1 o'clock, I say it's like 1 o'clock, and I need to stop doing that because it doesn't make any sense, and you shouldn't say it. I'm really big. I worked in retail for a long time, and I learned a lot about the way you say things is really important. Um, like when someone says thank you, a lot of people in my generation or younger say no problem, and that actually problem is a negative word, and you end it with problem. And even though you mean to say it's okay or it's not a big deal, it sounds negative in a way. And if someone says thank you and you say, hey, my pleasure, or I was excited I can help, that is a positive thing. And it just leaves the person walking away feeling more positive. So I'm really trying to perfect the way I talk. So, should you be a Power Ranger? We all are. What color would you choose to wear as a Ranger? What color? Um, you know, that's a question that I think originally back in the day I would have been like, I want to be the Titanium Ranger. I want to be the Green Ranger. Uh, I always loved the Sixth Rangers a lot. I love Magna Defender, but my personality, I know who I am, and I know that I would probably be like the Red Ranger, or I'd either be the Red Ranger or I'd be like the Black Ranger, who isn't necessarily who is just kind of like the second in command sort of thing. I've just throughout my life I've always been the person who sort of reluctantly takes charge. I don't really want to, but I kind of have to. So I think I would be the Red Ranger, even though I'm not really one to. Glad I caught your first live. I'll keep an eye out if you do more in the future. Have a good night, everyone. It's been fun. Yeah, thanks, Marty. Thank you, man. That was really fun. This was so much fun. I've really enjoyed it so much. It's been a blast doing this, guys. I have been doing. Yeah, I know. That was the funny part about Jungle Fury, because that came out after I kind of stopped watching, and then I went back, and it's like, oh man, they had a ranger named Casey. Gosh darn it, you know. Louisiana here. I even had my own series called Power Ranger Kids locally, and I worked in retail for a long time. I do say hello, thank you, and you're right about the no problem thing. I always said you're welcome. Yeah, you always need to. You always need to. I mean, it's just, it, you know, the amount of times I've worked with people, like young kids out of college, will come and work at like the music store I was at, and they would just say like no problem. The other one I hate is obviously. The word obviously is like it's one of those things that hurts my brain to hear people say it because I worked at a music store, so like when you're talking about like drums, like there'd be people who go, "Well, you obviously need drumsticks." No, it's not obvious when you're talking to a parent who knows nothing about music. Stop saying obvious because it sounds like you're calling them an idiot and you don't want to do that. That's negative. You know, when someone says like, so that's all we need. Well, actually they need drumsticks because that's what they use to play the drums. And you explain it to them, you teach them and help them feel comfortable about it. I always like to use analogies like when I would talk to some dad who was obviously a car guy, I'd always like to use analogies of um, cars. Like I'd relate it to car brands or whatever. But um, oh geez, sorry, I'm doing this on my phone. I'm having to press it so I can see the comments, but then sometimes it shifts my camera screen. Uh, Sorry. Sounds a lot like TJ would step up when he needed to and wanted to, but knew how to adapt and have a team. Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe I would be more of a TJ in space, because I'm not technically the leader, but I would be the one who like when the person isn't stepping up and be like, all right, let's do this. My ranger color is a mix between blue and gold, just like Antonio. Hey, yeah, yeah. I am also a Ronnie, just like him. Ronan. Sorry, Ronan. Um, yeah, dude, that's cool. That's cool. I think I would always like to have been like I said, I always would have loved to have been like the Titanium Ranger. I think that's uh, such a cool suit. And it's the first All American Ranger, which was kind of cool. I didn't know that as a kid. I just always thought it was an awesome Ranger. So, yeah. Well, man, hey guys, this has been awesome. I think I'm gonna. That's all the questions I had for this video. I had a lot of fun doing this. I'm definitely going to do more of these. They're really a good time. So I think I'm going to sign out. It's getting late here. So thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful night. I have to go to work and earn some money. Hey, thanks, Roll. Um, yeah, I mean, what time is it over there for you? Because it's almost midnight here. So I figure you're probably like, hey, thanks, man, Prism Ranger. I had a great time. Thanks for hanging in here, man. You hanged with me for like the whole time, almost 8 a.m. Oh man, you've been watching this the whole morning, dude. Thanks a lot, Rawl. That's awesome. Thanks, Prism Ranger, man. Have a good one. Yeah, guys, I'll talk to you later. Um, now I have to figure out how to actually do all this stuff because I don't know. Whoa. All right. I'm going to. Do I just exit? Sorry, I know this is my first time, so I'm looking like a fool. Looking like a fool. Hey, thanks, guys, so much. You guys are awesome. I'm really, honestly, I'm so overwhelmed by how awesome this whole channel and all you guys have been. So thank you so much. Have a great night, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.